Good morning. It is October 1st, and I thought I would do some videos. I thought perhaps I would make a YouTube channel, if for nothing else than to learn how to edit videos. Everyone say hello to Bear. Hello, Bear. We love you. This is my backyard garden in the sunrise. Here we have a delicata squash. You can look under here. There it is. Oh, it looks so much more yellow on camera. That's exciting. It might be more done than I thought. More ready for harvest. We live in a rather arid grassland, and as you can see, there are some naturally occurring plants. Naturally occurring. Lots of this is a plant called cochia that is invasive, and I can show you one up close. Let's go over here. Let's go this way. So this is cochia. This guy, you can see he has some red on his stem, and he has these annoying little seed pods that disperse effortlessly throughout everywhere. They can be about 8 feet tall, I think is the tallest I've seen them. I wanted to show New Mexico in 2024. Over here we have the Sandia Mountains off in the distance. It is a hazy day this morning. Not sure why, but last time it was this kind of hazy, we had a prescribed fire up in the Jemez Mountains that blew smoke all down here. So this is my garden, and this is the first intro of my new YouTube channel. Basically, I want to learn how to edit, like I said, and also I want to have a capsule of New Mexico in the year 2024. I don't see a lot of people from New Mexico online, and I thought it's a really interesting part of the country. I am not from here. I moved here about 3 years ago, and maybe 4 years ago. Yeah, it's 2024. I moved here 4 years ago. It's a really fascinating part of the country, and I thought, why not document it? You can see I'm able to grow kohlrabi. Well, I grew one kohlrabi. We'll see how that goes in the future. The videos are probably going to be very ugly at the beginning, and I understand that. I am trying to get better. That's why I'm learning. These are straw flowers, and I think they are just absolutely gorgeous. I love them so much, and how they open up in different ways and have different colors of red and yellow. They're gorgeous. If you cut these, if you were going to harvest, ooh, almost fell over. Say this guy right here. You would want to, oh wow, look at this guy. He decided to be a loopster. That's hilarious. Anyway, we could still do it with this guy. Don't worry. If you see where my middle finger right here is, there's a V in the stem of the plant. You would cut that right here. Just right there. And then hang them upside down until they completely dry out, and straw flowers will stay standing up after you dry them out. I actually have some dried inside. I can show you. Yes. I realize I've gotten my finger in this footage quite a bit. Apologies. I will get better. I guess this is a good intro. Might cut some of this off. Who knows? I might not. I might just leave this unedited for now as the intro to this channel. And the name, I don't know what the name is, but I know what this guy's name is. This guy's name is Bear. Hi, Bear. We'll see you guys soon. So while I was editing my video, I noticed that I had a bit of a lack of transition from my outside gardening talking about New Mexico to the inside crafting tutorial. This right here is a burro's tail. This is a string of pearls. These are both bromeliads. On this shelf, we have my indoor plants, obviously. And I did want to say that I have a great interest in learning. I want to learn a great many things about New Mexico, about growing plants and making things. I will be wrong about things. And, that's okay. This whole channel is about learning and about doing your best. This is a spider plant. This is an orchid that all of the blossoms have had their lifespan and they've fallen off, but he's still producing new leaves. I need to repot him, but we're all growing in our own ways. So yeah, I wanted to make a transitional segment talking about how I want to have intros, talking about my day, and then transition maybe into a learning segment, and then capping it off with another bit of a vlog. And that's really all I've got to say about that. So enjoy the quick and dirty copying shirt tutorial that is coming to your face right now. Hello again. This is going to be my second clip of today, and I today decided I want to copy a tank top of my husband's. It's this fun little Deadpool, have a nice day ditty, and unfortunately he wore it so much that it got this big old hole in it. So we're going to copy it, and we're also going to save the graphic on the tank top. Now, in order to put this thing on a shirt and not have it be some kind of giant pillow situation, I don't want it to do this on the shirt, right? I don't want it to be a big pillow. This is a rag I've made for the kitchen that I never put a stay stitch in the middle, so it's big and puffy like a pillow. And I don't want that to happen on this shirt. So what I'm going to do today is make a pattern, and I'm going to make a mock-up so that I can check the fit of, the arm side and the rest of the shirt before I destroy the shirt completely by taking out the logo, the graphic, So in order to copy this shirt, I'm gonna need paper of some kind. I've used many types of paper for pattern making. It's whatever floats your boat, honestly. Wrapping paper is nice, but it can get kind of expensive. So you can also just tape pieces of printer paper together. It's whatever, man. So we also obviously are going to need something to mark with, the marker, something to tape the pieces together, and scissors to cut out the final product. The measuring tape is optional, but it is nice to have to check things like making sure your straps are the same width on both pattern pieces is going to help you line those up and sew them together much easier. Now I'm just going to cut, and I'm going to set up everything so that I can start copying it. Yes. Okay, I have now set up for the first step of making your pattern, copying a shirt you have that you can cut up. However, you can do this without cutting up the shirt, but since this one already had a hole in it, I thought this will be easier. It's easier if you can cut it up. Either way, if you're cutting it up or not cutting it up, you're going to want to fold the front pattern piece in half. If you noticed in my last footage, my original shirt was either not cut symmetrically, or it had warped over time due to it being worn for so long. So folding it in half is a little bit of a guessing game. The fit of this shirt is rather loose, so that's awesome because we don't need to worry about it fitting super well. So yes, you want to fold it in half as best you can. This little bit is very annoying to me, but what I will do is use my handy dandy measuring tape when I have finished outlining this thing in a moment. After I'm done with that step, I'll double check and I'll see how long the hem is, and then I can divide that hem in half, whatever that number is, divide it by 2, and then I can double check that that's about the same, length, about the same size. So that's what we're doing. So now you take your marker and you outline the dang thing. And I'll be right back with that. Okay, I have now outlined the shirt. And you can see, boo, boo, boo. If I move it, there is the outline. Now, it was, as I mentioned, a little bit of a guessing game. I did have to fudge the numbers, especially in this corner. I lifted it up and I honestly just tried to do as straight of a line as I could. This kind of thing, I suppose, just comes with practice, if I'm gonna be, honest. But it also comes with not caring a whole heckin' lot about precision. Let's be real. This is copying a shirt from, I'm going to guess, Walmart. But I mean, I don't know. So I also did not add seam allowance when I outlined this pattern. I do not add seam allowances to my pattern because I like to decide on what width of seam allowance I am going to use based on the fabric choice. So, thicker widths of seam allowance for thicker fabrics, and, or what your preference is what I mean, your preference. So, do as you please. Other than that, I'm going to mark the pattern because I folded the shirt here. I'm going to mark this as a fold. We're gonna put the stretch around, because this direction goes around your middle so that if you eat a big meal, your shirt can stretch with you. Oh, we love that in a shirt. And then we will do, boom, grain line. So mark that. As you can see, it is a very precise process. I'm joking, of course. It is a very simple process that can be made extremely complicated, and that's fine. Because if you make it complicated and it works for you, that's fine. I am a bit of an idiot, so I like to make things very simply. And if they don't work, I try it again. So, other than the grain line and the stretch, I should note that this is, let's just mark it as Deadpool tank version 1 front. Okay. Other than that, I should say no seam allowance, because even though I never put seam allowance on my patterns, I often forget that I have done so. And so I think, help myself out whenever I can. So, okay. And then I gotta make sure I've marked everything I need to. Fold, grain line, stretch line, tank top, front, no seam allowance. Okay. We are going to do the same thing for the back piece. And that one, I will also show you how I line that one up because of the huge hole in the back. That one will also be a bit of a guessing game. So we'll be right back. I know what I forgot to mark on the first pattern piece. It is the length of the garment, the actual length. So I'm going to go with 22.5 inches or oh, well, that's unfortunate. It has a different, okay, hold on. I'll figure it out in centimeters. Give me a second. We'll use this side of the tape from now on. What about that, folks? Okay. 22.5 inches or 57 centimeters. That is going to be the full length of the front panel piece or the front bodice piece. So 22.5 divided by 2 is 11.25. So, go over here. Yes, I walk around on my knees all the time. Okay, so over here we have 11. So that's pretty dang close, and I'm just gonna leave it like that because what's a 1/4 of an inch to me? Not a lot. So, okay, now I can get the other one started. Cool. Here is how I have managed to fold the back pattern piece. Okay, another note on this whole like estimating and fudging the numbers and what's a 1/4 inch to me. Technically it is a 1/2 inch to me because the 1/4 of an inch will be doubled. So it is a 1/2 inch to me. Second of all, this is going to be the first version of the shirt. And due to the mock-up nature of this pattern, I'm not super worried about the 1/2 inch. I had a hard time learning to do mock-ups because they seem like a waste of time and material. And, you know, sometimes I still don't do a mock-up, but if I'm not doing a mock-up, I'm making a pattern in a different way, and I will show you that perhaps in another video. But for this kind of thing, because I don't want to measure the garment, I am making estimations on my first mock-up. So I've estimated how this might be folded in half. It is obviously not straight. If I were to make the bottom hem line up evenly, like this is how it ends up being folded. And that's crazy sauce. Who cuts a shirt like that? I don't know. Deadpool does, apparently. He is a rather haphazard man. So, yes, this is what I have elected to do. I will now outline that in red marker and label it as I've done the other one. So I have measured the back as I measured the front, and you can see over here, it's 21.75 of an inch or 55 centimeters. And that leads me to believe that this shirt was, in theory, supposed to be 22 inches on the back, 22 inches on the front, meaning 11 inches would be half. If you folded it, 11 inches is what you get. So, on a theory, I'm going to make the front pattern piece over there. I apologize for my shaky cam. And the back pattern piece over here, both 11 inches on this bottom hemline right here. So let's see what we got by tracing it. Okay, by tracing it, I got 10 inches. So I'm going to add an inch on the side with the arm hole, which will end up being the side seam of the shirt. Okay, before I actually cut it out, I was going to explain what I meant by double checking the length of the straps. Okay, so we have a difficult to line up shot, but that's okay. I'll learn. This is about, 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 of an inch. This one over here is 7 centimeters. Oh, awesome. I freaking love when that happens the first time, dog. Okay, so now we can cut them out. Okay, so after double checking that the straps on both pieces are the same width, 7 centimeters, I am going to ensure that the pattern pieces are the same length and not the same length as each other overall. The only thing we want to make sure is the same length, apart from the straps, is this seam right here. Okay, let me get a bigger picture for you. Let me zoom out. So we have strap. That is the same. We're good. Now we are trying to figure out this line right here. This is going to be underneath the armpit of the shirt. It is the side seam. And we want to line up where that armpit, if I knew how to work my camera, it would be better. Where that goes, right? Because these are going to be seamed together. So we want them to be the same length. And over here you can see, oh, crap, I have an extra inch. So if I hadn't checked, I would have one pattern piece that is a solid inch longer than the other. And if you'll notice, whoops, I will cover my camera lens. The fronts are very different. Look at this neckline, right? And so we don't want to line up the fold line because that will put the pattern piece way down here. And then you have some, I'm guessing, 3-ish inches of pattern extra. So we don't want that. We want this one up here. Da, 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 da. And with that, we have our 2 pattern pieces. That is technically the end of the tutorial about copying a pattern piece. I mean, copying copying a shirt you have into a pattern piece. Copying a pattern piece is way easier. You just put the pattern on the paper and then you outline it. So there's that tutorial for you. So yeah, I am going to try to figure out what kind of fabric I would like to make the mock-up out of. I might film it, I might not. You know, I still have to do things. It's hard to film without a tripod, but I will get one and we'll evolve from there. Okay, so I decided to keep going with this project today because I have enough energy to do so. I found a fabric. This is a lightweight cotton knit. So it rolls a crap ton, which is going to be annoying, but I have a tip for that in a moment. Currently, I have laid out both pattern pieces on the fold. You can see here, fold, fold. A person could buy pattern weights, or a person could look around their house for various items that will do the job. So yes, to cut out the pattern pieces, we need to add seam allowance. Now, we do not add seam allowance everywhere. This is a mistake I have made in the past, and it's really annoying. So, the places you do not add seam allowance are the neckline and the arm side. So, the reason you do not add seam allowance to the arm side on this shirt is because there are no sleeves to attach to the arm side. So you just don't need a seam allowance. We will need to finish the seam. I'm going to use a separate piece of fabric to fold over the raw edge, not fold that raw edge in on itself. If you would like to use just this fabric and cut a seam allowance in the arm side in order to have a rolled hem, that is your prerogative. You could absolutely do that. I am not going to for this shirt. So, yeah, I might not even finish this shirt because, and I mean the raw edges on this shirt, because this doesn't unravel. So because it is a mock-up and because it does not fray, I might not finish the raw edges. We'll see. And, you know, some might say that that's lazy, but also I've seen that on pre-made clothing. It is a fashion choice, so I'm making that choice to possibly be lazy. One note I would like to say about adding seam allowance, there is a lazy man's trick. If you just use your fingertip as a ruler, you'll get the same seam allowance size everywhere you cut. And so I will do that here as well. And like I said, it's a bit of a lazy man's trick because I don't actually know how wide my fingertip is. But I do know that all of the seam allowances will be the same width because of this digit. Now, I wanted to show you the cutout front piece compared to the original front piece. As is expected, the blue one is bigger than the original one. It's supposed to be with the seam allowance. But I did also want to highlight again how off center the original shirt was cut. And I'm not doing this to rag on pre-made clothing and say, oh, look, it's so crappy, it's terrible. What I am trying to highlight, though, is that neither me nor my husband noticed this. This shirt is obviously not cut straight. And we didn't notice. We didn't care. We used the shirt anyway. It was a wonderful shirt. So if you are worried about making your own clothing, something like this might give you a small measure of encouragement because it doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be useful. It needs to be delightful to you, and it needs to be what your life needs. So go for it. It's not going to be perfect, and it really doesn't need to be. We are at my sewing machine now, and I mentioned that this fabric rolls because it is a knit stretch fabric and it rolls, which is annoying, but there are ways to make this less annoying. This part is completely skippable. You do not need this step. I gotta be real with you, but I hate the rolling of the fabric. So I'm gonna do this step. And what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna line this up like so. I have, where's my camera? I have about 5/8 of an inch. How do people even record these? That'll be a trick. So 5/8 of an inch. I've forgotten how to do this. Slam that down. Awesome. And then you're going to come over here to your stitch length, and you are going to, with a straight stitch, make it longer because this will go faster. Because this is called a stay stitch because it helps things stay in place. I might be using that word wrong, but if I am, you can let me know. So I'm just gonna do a straight stitch all along the entirety of the piece I cut out on every part, so that it rolls less. It doesn't stop the rolling, but it rolls less, and it makes it less annoying. So that's what I'm gonna do. Awesome. Okay, now that we have our stay stitch all the way around our boys. Yes. Okay, now we can start sewing the pieces actually together. The cool part where it becomes a garment. No, wait. I set this up wrong. I was going to do side seams first, but no. Do not do this. Instead, we are going to do the straps first. So, is this going to work? Maybe not. It's going to be a weird angle, but okay. We are going to line up these straps and then pin it. Boom. Now, you don't have to pin this because we're literally only doing the straps right now. If you feel adventurous and you really like finger pinning and you trust yourself, go forth. Have fun. I am clumsy. And as such, I pin things. So I'm actually going to, since I'm over here with my freaking pins, I'm gonna go ahead and pin the side seams, and then I'll start sewing up here. So basically, pin what you want to, but start sewing from the top down so that if you have misalignments, they will be pronounced at the bottom where you can change things versus at the top where it's all complicated and crap. This is loops and holes and curves, and these are 2 straight lines. So think about the complicated bits you want to line up first, and then you can deal with the simple bits at the end. Rad. Before I start sewing, I have everything pinned right here. I wanted to talk about the stitch. I am using 3 on my brother, which is this lightning stitch right here. I've chosen this one, and I'm keeping the stitch length and height in the same positions. I've chosen this one because according to the book I have, which you should always keep near your sewing machine, because it lists what the stitches are for in here. So I looked, and I am sewing. Oh, please do it. Come on. Come on, buddy. Be a bro. Okay, well, it won't prove me right, but sewing stretch fabrics and decorative stitching. So I'm going with 3 because it says stretch stitch. We do also have this triple stretch stitch as that, but I don't want to do that. I'm doing 3. Oh, Bear, is there trouble afoot? You okay, buddy? He's a good boy. He hates his cone because, I mean, what dog likes a cone, right? But he was licking on his foot earlier, and we can't have that with his surgery. So anyway, I'm going to use the stretch stitch because this is a stretch fabric. That is another reason I decided to go really wide on my straight stitching for the stay stitching, because it's a stretch fabric. So I didn't want to put too much stress on that stay stitch. But I did want to give the fabric a little bit of stability because I hate this fabric. It's nice to wear, supposedly, according to my husband. I have not worn it because I don't like it. But I bought it, and I'm going to use it because my husband likes it. We might be done, my friends. As you can see, the seams are seamed. They're there. It's a shirt now. It's that simple. Honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, the stay stitching I did right here, I kind of like how it looks, especially as just a hanging around the house shirt, something to wear. And again, this is a mock-up, so unfortunately, the owner of this shirt is at work, and we must wait for his return. Which is a bummer when you want to show your best friend something. But that's okay, because we got this. And yeah, due to the fact that it's a mock-up, I want him to try it on before I do any extra work, like finishing the hem. Because if it doesn't fit, why finish it? So I'm going to leave it as such for now, and maybe in perpetuity. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, it's a shirt, and that's how you copy a shirt that you own. Good luck if you try it. Let me know how it goes, what shirt you copy or whatever. So this is a thing I learned, and now you have learned it as well. So go us. I thought I would end today's vlog with a little b-roll of the backyard. I love the backyard. It's about noon, 77 degrees, extremely clear skies. So, you know, love that blue for your screen. Other than that, you know, we have many pollinators on our... This is a sunflower that decided to slowly lie down. It did not break, as you can see. It just slowly lied down because of the strong winds in our area. There are extreme hurricane force winds on occasion, and that is one of the most difficult things when dealing with the garden. The garden is one of my favorite places. These are cosmos. The pollinators love them. In here, these orange blossoms. Sorry, I have something in my eye. These orange blossoms that are faded here and down there. Those are what's called safflower, and they are a seed from Corrales, New Mexico, which is south of us. And they are a culinary substitute for saffron threads, which I think is really neat because saffron grows in very cold climates, and we are not a cold climate. We also have tomatillos. That's what these are. They are adorable. They are these little balloons that slowly the fruit grows inside the balloon, and then you can eat it in salsa. You can make excellent salsa verde with tomatillos. And yes, this is my corn that has already been harvested. This is a melon, and we have a little pollinator friend. I would love if you could pollinate some of these blossoms. That would be amazing. Over here, I don't think I've shown you the zinnias. The zinnias have exploded. I made some flower beds out of an old set of drawers that were broken, and the zinnias have exploded. They're leaving the bed, not with their roots, just their stalks, just, you know, having a grand old time. So yeah, that's some B-roll of the garden for you. Other than that, today I'm going to have curried carrot and potato soup for lunch. It is a recipe that I followed from Pick Up Limes. The shirt making tutorial, the quick and dirty one, I learned that from a YouTube channel called Thoughtful Creativity, and she is one of the most amazing teachers I have ever encountered. So if you need a more better, just more better, it's just a better tutorial. If you want that, please go visit her channel. She is fantastic. And I've learned most everything that I know from sewing from her. Other than that, that's all I have to do today. Stick around if you want to keep learning or just see a little bit of New Mexico. That's going to be what I do. Yeah, if you watch this to the end, thank you so much. I'm doing this for history. I am doing this for my nieces and nephews. Hopefully they don't find this till they're adults, because I am not child friendly. But posterity is posterity, and those who write history, I think, are important, even if it's daily journaling of what life is like. So I hope you have an amazing day.